Hello, everyone, and welcome to an episode of Coding with Miss Ruth. Today, we're going to be doing a LEET code problem called Tucson. I'll make sure to leave a link in the description for those who want to follow along. Okay, so let's go ahead and read the question. Given an array of integers, nums, and an integer target, return indices of two numbers such that they add up to target. You may assume that each input would have exactly one solution, and you may not use the same element twice. You can return the answer in any order. Okay, so let's look at a couple of examples here. The first example, we're given an array 2, 7, 11, and 15. The target is 9. The output should be 0 and 1. And it's the reason why it says that is because nums at 0, which is 2, plus nums at 1, which is 7, equals 9. So we're going to return 0 and 1. I should tell you that arrays begin with 0. Okay? Alrighty. And so in the second example, we're given an array 3, 2, and 4. The target is 6. Now 3 and 3 equals 6, but that's the same element, so we don't want to return 0 and 0. 2 and 4 also equal 6, so we can return 1 and 2. And the last example, we have an array 3 and 3, and the target is 6. Even though they're the same number, they're not the same element, so it's okay to return 0 and 1. All right, so there's a few solutions to this. Let's start with the brute force solution. First thing we need to find if we're using the brute force solution is all the elements in the array, and we can do that with a for loop. So int I'm going to start at 0. I'm going to go until I is less than nums.size. Yikes. Minus 1. I'll explain. Nums.size is the full length there of the array. I'll explain why we use geeks one less in a bit. I'm going to add I plus plus. I plus plus, basically, you're going to add 1 to whatever the current um, value of I is for that loop. All right. Okay. Now we need two numbers, right? We need two numbers to add up to get to target. So we're going to do this twice. So 4 int j, so we don't confuse anybody, equals I plus 1 plus 1, so we don't return the same element twice. We're going to go to j is less than nums dot size, and this time we're going to go to the full length of the array. The reason why we didn't do it the full length of the array before is because we don't want to trigger a out of bounds error. So let's say the size is 5 and I is also 5, but j is I plus 1, so j would be 6, right? But the size is still only 5, and so that's going to trigger an out of bounds error and basically crash the program, and we don't want to do that. So we're just going to leave it the way it is right now. All right. So let's see, is that it? No, oh yeah, that's it. So now let's set a condition. If nums I plus nums j equals target, then we want to return I and j, right? Now, if there is no solution, then 1, 2, 3, we're going to come all the way out and let's not screw that up. Return an empty array, because we do have to return something because it's not a void function. This function has a return type, so we have to return a vector, and that's what we're going to do. All right, let's see what happens. I'm going to try it, and it's going to tell me that I did it right. Yay! So we have passed all the test cases, 1, 2, 3 at the bottom. That means did it right. Now let me clean up the code just a little bit. So nums.size, we used it twice. We can just clean it up a little bit and say int size equals nums.size, and then we can change. Oh yikes! I don't do that. Let's change this to size. Yeah, I think I spelled it better. Spell it correctly, you won't have any errors. There's a trick there, I'll tell you. And size, see, that should be the same. All right, so we got that to work out. That's the first solution. Now let's go to the second solution. I'm going to comment all this out so you guys can still look at it if you want to, I guess. All right, so the second solution, we're going to use a hash map. A hash map is basically it's a data structure that stores data in pairs. Um, one is the key, and the other is its value. You can set up a hash map. Excuse me. You can set it up however you want. And for this case, we're going to set it up to store the indices and the element at that index. Okay, so first we need to declare the, what do you call that thing? Hash map, I just said. Hash map. So ordered map, and it's going to store, what is that thing? The element, no, the index, and an element at that index. And we're going to call it lamb. All right, now, let's fill her up with some stuff. To fill her up, we have to go get in order to build the map, we have to iterate through the array with a for loop. So you've seen this before. At I equals 0, we're going to go until I is the full length of the array. Did I see this before? We can do it. Let's use the cleaner code this time because that's gonna annoy me. So let's not do that. Let's use the cleaner code this time. We're gonna do int size equals nums size. And yeah, let's do that because I don't want to do that again. And size. All right. I'm done. I'm gonna put in damn map. I don't want a damn map. Bastard. And we're going to call it. So let's go ahead and build that. So num map is going to be nums I is going to equal one. So that's going to build our map. Awesome. Now we can use the array as is for the first number. We can use the hash map for the second number, but we're going to have to do a little math first before we can get that to work. So I'm going to do the math with another for loop. So int I equals 0, and I is less than size, and I plus plus, and we're going to do, what is it? We need this two numbers. We need two numbers. So let's do the second number. Second number is going to equal target minus nums I, whatever that is. And this is going to find the second number for every integer, for every element in the array. All right, so this is going to give us everything. And now let's set a condition. If num map count second number, so The count is going to count how many times that second number is in the hash map. Now, since there should be only one solution, that means it's either going to be there or it's not. So it's going to be 0 or it's going to be 1. So it's going to be pretty, it's going to, yes or no is what we're going to have for that one. So non-map.count, second number. And the other condition is we don't want return the same element, right? So it's going to be non-map. I want to keep putting maps there. Non-map, second number. No, that's going to return, this is the value, and it's going to return the key. We don't want that key to equal I. That's going to keep it from returning the same element. All right. So that second number is going to return the key. And we don't want that key to be the same index that we're at. Okay. That's what that means. All right. So if that is the case, we want to return Ebola. I forgot. I and Graphola. I second number, I want to say. Yeah, I'm not that second number. Tripping. Sorry, y'all. I had to look at my notes because I really did just blank out for a second. This is why you should have notes, just in case. Number. That's all I read. I did. Number second. It's just a second number. Second number. Wow. That's going to return the index. I just said this of the second number. And that's what we want to return. And if there is no solution, we want to come outside if of the if, outside the for, and return an empty array. Let's see. Is this going to work? Yeah. File error. Damn thing. I always do that. So it's a terrible habit, by the way. Make sure your zeros are not O's, okay? You're not supposed to do that. That was crazy. All right, so there it goes. It worked out. Yay. All right, so that's the second solution. Now there is one more solution that I have, and it's not really that much different from this one. And so in this third solution, we're gonna put it all under this same one for loop. So we're gonna leave unordered map outside, and size is going to be outside this little bit right here. We're going to put it inside the for loop, but we're going to put it after the if statement because we needed to do that check and comment this part out. All right, and run it. We're praying for a miracle. Oh, that's beautiful. I love it when it works out. And so basically, when we do it this way, we don't need to build the entire hash map. We only need to build enough to get the answer that we want. And that's it. So we don't have to, I don't think we had to build the entire hash map for anything. All right. So that those are the three solutions that I have. I hope that this helped, and I'd like to see you on the next episode. Have a good day, everybody. Have a good one.